We are so thrilled to be partnering with Hinge. Hinge is the dating app designed to be deleted. As you all know, I'm a huge Hinge advocate as I met my partner of almost 3 years on the app. Even before meeting him, Hinge was always my go-to app because I met more relationship-minded people here and had some great dates. Clearly, I haven't been on the app for a little while, but I re-downloaded it to check out some of the new features. One that stood out to me was the voice prompt, my best friend's take on why you should date me, where your friend can hype you up. Not only does this make the profile creation less daunting, but it's not always easy to see your own green flags. So to test it out, I asked Yue some fun prompts to get her take on what I could put if I was dating again. So the first one, how long have we known each other? What was your first impression of me and how has that changed?
Julie and I have known each other for almost 10 years. My first impression of Julie was that she's very social, but I've learned that she has a lot more depth to her beyond the social butterfly that she is.
My next prompt, what do you think are my green flags?
I would say she's deeply loyal. She believes in love, curious mindset, and she is fearlessly ambitious.
And then last but not least, what kind of friend am I?
Julie is the kind of friend who will always have your back, no matter what.
Damn, that feels nice to hear. So download Hinge and try voice prompts today. Then find someone worth deleting the app for. As you know, I recently left my corporate job and I've been in total recovery mode, all about self-care. One of my new routines is the nighttime shower before bed. There's just something about washing away the day and that reflection that's been super helpful for me. I've been using one of our partners, Osea's Mega Moisture Duo. This combo body oil and body lotion are so freaking incredible. It literally feels like I'm at a spa. I realized that the secret is seaweed and other skin level ingredients that are normally reserved for face products. And that's why I was so excited when Osea became one of our partners. And, we're so grateful for partners like this because one, they keep the show going, but they're also super good for all of our listeners and for our own well-being. So if you want to have that nighttime bliss like I am doing, you can get 10% off your first order site-wide with code DATEABLE at oseamalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. So head to oseamalibu.com and use the code DATEABLE for 10% off. Let us know which products you end up going with, share them in social. Super excited to see what you end up choosing. Do you know what I love? You guessed it, wine. There's something about going wine tasting that I just can't get enough of. And I'm so excited about our sponsor, Last Bottle Wines, who brings the experience to you. If you don't already know, they're a Napa-based online wine shop with a twist. They offer just one hand-picked wine per day until it sells out, often in hours. So new day, new wine, always at incredible prices. We're talking 30 to 70% off retail. And the best part, there's no subscriptions, no fees, and no minimum purchase. Just a daily email with a really great wine. You may have heard us talking about their marathon sale, but the good news is that there's always a sale at Last Bottle Wines. And I can confirm the wine is delicious. I'm particularly enjoying the Luna Vineyards cab they sent me. And what better way for you to enjoy your wine too? We're offering Dateable listeners 10% off your first order with code DATEABLE. Sign up at lastbottlewines.com and use the code DATEABLE and find out why Last Bottle is the most fun way to discover and buy amazing wine.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Krafchick.
We're active daters turned dating sociologists.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to the Dateable Podcast. Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Brunch Talk, where we dissect, analyze, and beat to death your dating.
Oh my God, Yue.
We make them come to life.
I like that. I like that spin.
But this question is not for that, so don't worry. We're going to get to our Brunch Talk question. How do I step more into my feminine energy?
And for more context, I've had a lot of masculine energy my whole life as I've navigated difficult situations. Now I'm ready to let myself be feminine as I prepare to re-enter the dating scene. How can I embrace and grow this energy?
Like you're watering a plant and growing it somehow. I wish that's how people worked, and that's not how it works. Personally, I don't believe there's a feminine or masculine energy. We just have different energies and we can gender them or not. I'd rather not. And for anybody who feels like they have to push themselves into a feminine or a masculine energy,
No.
it must mean that it's not natural for
Right.
you. It's not authentic to who you are. That's like telling you to be someone who you aren't. So I'd rather we not think about it in a way of like, oh, I need to be more in this energy, and think about how do I grow more of the authenticity in who I am.
I am just shocked that we're still talking about feminine and masculine energy in 2024.
I
know it's a big thing though. If you go on like TikTok and dating influencers that have no background at all, they'll be talking about the feminine energy. It's one of the most viewed things on TikTok, apparently. I learned this recently. I agree with you. I think it's detrimental because this goes back to all the challenges with dating we talk about so much on this podcast of we've been told that we need to follow certain rules, act a certain way, and that's how we land our partner. And it is being yourself, being authentic to who you are is how you land the right partner for you. How exhausting would it feel to be in your feminine energy, making sure that you're dainty? And I feel like I did this for a little. So I'm speaking to someone that also followed this advice back in the day. I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't talk about work as much. Maybe I should be like a little more feminine and flirt more and all the stuff.
Oh my God.
And it's exhausting because you're sitting there being like, how do I be this like caricature of myself?
Yes.
And then the person that likes that doesn't even know you at the end of the day.
Because their true colors will have to come out eventually.
Right. And just because you're not in your feminine, quote unquote, energy, what does that even mean? That doesn't mean that you can't. I hate flirting too. I hate that word.
Yeah.
And I don't hate what flirting stands for. I like playful energy. For me, being playful with partners has always been something that's core to who I am. But when you put it under the term flirting or being feminine, it now becomes this like mold that I'm trying to morph into, where I probably actually embraced a lot of the stuff on my own anyways.
Yes.
So I would say to this person that wrote in, instead of looking at it as feminine energy, think about like, what is it that makes up feminine energy? Like, what are those qualities? And look at like which ones are natural to you already.
The only people who should be thinking about stepping more into their feminine or masculine energies would be actors who are trying to play a certain role. But if you're trying to find true connection, this is why this is so triggering for me. This is a very Chinese thing. For any of our Chinese listeners, this is so Chinese. I'm from Beijing. We're known as the loudmouth, straight talking, direct people.
I did not know that.
Yes. So in China, if you're a Beijing girl, everybody knows, you're just a direct talker. You just talk loud and you tell people how you feel. My mom, and as well as like the other women in my life who've, been growing up with this, will always say, if you want a man, you got to act more Taiwanese. And Taiwanese women are known, there's a Chinese word, dia, which just means like, you're a little whinier. And like the way you would speak is, there's been many videos done on this. Let's say you're talking to your husband. Instead of asking, like a Chinese person would be like, hey, husband, what do you want for dinner? Like that, very direct. If you're a Taiwanese woman, apparently how you would do it is you go, husband, you hungry? What do you feel like?
Oh my God.
That is how I've been taught to be more feminine to get a man. Okay.
I can't even imagine you ever doing that voice. I don't want to ever hear that voice again. I'm going to unhear that voice.
I mean, Julie, can you imagine if one day you heard me
I'd be horrified.
say that to my partner? You'd be like,
I'm leaving.
Are you
right
possessed?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? And this is why it's so triggering to me, because like that is so anti who I am as a person. But I've been taught from my elders that that's how you should act to attract a man, to be more feminine. That's all to say, I understand in a relationship, polarity is very important. You want to be different. You want to have different energies with your partner. You don't want to be the same type of energy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's like a feminine and masculine between a man and a woman. It just means you go back and forth to complement each other's energies.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners.
This episode is sponsored by Via. We all know there are things that can help set the mood in the bedroom, but did you know a little THC could also do that? Yes, Via has developed a unique blend of pleasure-enhancing cannabinoids, libido-strengthening herbs, and a low dose of THC all into one mind-blowing gummy called High Love. This gummy, wow, it will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, and intensify any sexual experience. I've been pleasantly surprised by the High Love gummies because it is just the right amount of THC for me to have a good time without feeling sleepy. And hey, if THC is not your thing, Via also offers a wide array of other gummies without it. And everything legally ships in 50 states with discreet packaging directly to your door. So if you're over 21, you can get 15% off and a free pack of award-winning Dreams THC plus CBN sleep gummies with our exclusive code DATEABLE at viahemp.com. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Let the gummies work their magic. Head to viahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE to receive 15% off and one free sample of their Sleepy Dream gummies. That's viahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout. Take your passion and pleasure to a whole new level with High Love from Via Hemp. This episode is made possible by Armoire. Armoire makes getting dressed easy. With a clothing rental membership from Armoire, build the perfect wardrobe with brands that are high quality, unique, and recommended just for you. All you have to do is take a 5-minute style quiz and select items from your dynamic, personalized closet. The styles show up at your door in as little as 2 days. Then when you're ready for new clothes, just swap them out. Listen, I live in Southern California. There is absolutely no need for puffer coats or any sort of those winter jackets. But when I travel anywhere else in the world in these cold months, I'm often burdened with the task of getting winter clothes. And now with Armoire, I can just rent my winter wardrobe. It's brilliant. Right now, our listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 50% off their first month. That's up to $125 off. Just visit armoire.style/dateable. That is armoire.style, spelled ARMOIRE.style/DATEABLE to get up to 50% off your first month and never worry about what to wear again. Try Armoire today. This episode is made possible by Badlands Pets. As you all know, Mojo, my precious baby, is the reason why I found love in the first place. He made me feel love again. So I would do anything to ensure his health and longevity. And actress Katherine Heigl and I have that in common. She's helped save over 16,000 dogs through her foundation. And after doing a ton of research, she feels there's one place we can look to improve any dog's health, and that's their food. So fortunately, she found that just by adding a few special superfoods to her dog's food, she saw huge transformations in their health. So she's made a 20-minute video explaining step-by-step how anyone can do the same thing to see incredible changes in their dog's health. I've definitely re-looked at what I'm feeding Mojo and making sure that, hey, he only has one life to live, and I want to make sure it's the best damn life. So if you want to keep your dog healthy and happy, go to badlandsfood.com/dateable and watch Catherine's video right now. Again, that's badlandsfood.com/DATEABLE.
Okay, I can't relate 100% to the voice, but I do relate to the morphing yourself into someone else and things you're supposed to say, things you're not supposed to say. Are you supposed to lead? Are you not supposed to lead? And I know when I was playing by those rules, one, I was not authentic to myself at all. And then also I was a sitting duck. I was just passively waiting.
Yes.
And that did not feel good to me. And that being said, I don't mean that taking initiative and reaching out was stepping into my masculine.
No.
It was just if I want to talk to someone, I'm going to talk to someone. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you were doing that. I don't think all of a sudden you have to be I'm now planning all the dates. I think there's a lot that's ingrained in us about gender. No one's denying that. For me, it was a step to even be the one to message first on dating apps and to suggest hanging out. I also felt like I didn't want to be the one to fully plan the date. In today's world, I might be different on that, but that's how I felt when I was dating. So what I would do is I would kind of still initiate, like I'd reach out, or I'd like, when the conversation was at a certain point, I'd be like, oh, this would be a better conversation for in person, or it's hard to text through these apps. Like, here's my number if you want to chat more. I would kind of not be the one to ask for the date, but I would put the ball out there that I was interested. And I actually had a lot of people say to me, you were so much more like forthcoming than other people I talked to. And that's how I actually had dates, right? Because I put it out there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's all or nothing is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think you need to like morph into this super planner mode and not let anyone do it. Like, I think at the end of the day, if you give an inch, it doesn't mean that you take a mile. It's a give and take.
You embody all of the different types of energy. So lean into the ones that truly feel good for you.
Yeah.
I do believe biologically as women, we have more of a motherly energy, whether you call that feminine, but I think it's the motherly energy we embody that we can surely lean more into. We shouldn't fight against it, right? If you are on a date and you feel like you really want to show this person you care for them, that's leaning into that energy. That's not against the grain.
No.
You're not pretending to be someone you're not. But then we also embody this other energy sometimes of like getting shit done and doing things, making things happen. Sure, you can call that masculine energy if you want to, but like lean into what feels good to you instead of qualifying them as feminine or masculine. Just do what feels natural to you.
I love that so much. And I think that's like spot on, because I feel like I've never been someone that's thought of myself as like feminine energy. Like, that's never been like a thought. Like, I thought I need to lean into my feminine energy more when I was in this state. But yeah, like I remember many partners have been like, you're so supportive, you're so caring, you've such a big heart, but that was all just natural.
Yeah.
So it's, how do you bring out the sides that are natural to you?
Yes.
I would so much rather this listener focus on what makes them a great partner, removing all the labels.
Yes.
And just focus there and then move in that direction.
And think about what it is you're trying to accomplish. I feel like we have this discussion about energies is because we just want the other person to feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So do we feel like, oh, we have to be more feminine to make them feel more masculine? That's so wrong. That's like such a wrong way to go about it. Your goal is just trying to make someone feel good. You want to leave them a better person than before they met you. And lean into whatever that means. Don't be mean. Don't be irresponsible. Don't be disrespectful. Those are all positive energies of being a good human being. We don't have to say they're masculine or feminine.
And I feel like maybe you should have said this up top, but Yue and I, we have another podcast that many of you are aware of, Exit Interview.
Yes.
And we had this whole conversation with one of our guests, Deborah. So highly recommend tuning in for that too.
Yes.
And she actually was not a hetero dater. And we were shocked how much this stuff even moved into the LGBTQ plus environments of dating.
Yes.
So it shows that none of us are immune to it. This all trickles in. She was really focused on, should I be in my femme? Should I be in my mask?
Yes.
And we had to have this similar conversation of like, just be you, you know, like that's what someone's going to be drawn to. So no one's immune to it. No one.
I know. I was so in shock when she was like, should I wear more dresses? Well, do you want to wear more dresses? Right. I mean, it's like, do it if you want to. And also know that we're constantly evolving. Maybe today you want to wear dresses. Tomorrow you don't.
Right.
Maybe today you want to hold someone's hand. Tomorrow you want to put your hands around their shoulder. Today you may be the one cooking. And then tomorrow you may be the one deciding where to go. Like, who cares? Just do what feels good for you, and the right person for you will complement you in a relationship. And then your roles keep on changing. Your energies keep on changing and evolving. That's the right relationship for you when you can go through all those evolutions together.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be so rigid.
Ugh.
Okay, well, I'm glad we tackled this conversation. And thank you for the listener that wrote in, because this is something that, like we said, still popping up in 2024 all the time.
Get your questions in. You can email us, hello@dateablepodcast.com. You can DM us on Instagram @dateablepodcast is a handle. Or if you want your answers quickly, then you can send us your question in the body of your review on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars first and then write the review with your question in it. Then we'll bump it up to the front of the line.
Love it. See you next week.
Bye. The Dateable Podcast is part of the Frolic Media Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram at Dateable Podcast and visit dateablepodcast.com for access to all the episodes and our premium programs. Also, make sure to subscribe today if you haven't already on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform so you are the first to get all the latest episodes. And most importantly, stay dateable.